Hello, and welcome to another episode of Raw by Blast, the podcast that takes you deep into the lives and struggles and fun times of pro players, industry people, coaches, and such. Today I'm joined by a very talented, a very stylish, a very calm and happy young man in Russel, Twistzz. And now my, European self wants to pronounce your last name as if it's Dutch, right? Van Dulken.
It is Dutch.
So did I do like a fairly okay job?
Well, I just say Van Dulken, but I bet there is an accent for like actual Dutch people to pronounce it.
I think what I just did was very accurate.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I've never heard it, so no. I mean, yeah, it's probably right, and I don't even know it. So
you have Dutch heritage.
Yes, my dad's side, and it's like a mix, like Dutch Indonesian. So
okay, that's very specific.
It's a cross. Yeah, and then my mom's side is like mostly German, but some other like nationalities in there too.
So a good spicy immigrant mix that now lives in Canada.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank God I don't live in America. I'm just kidding.
You're one of them. Let's just take it back a little bit to your early days. You are one of the first pros to play and actually be younger than the game. I'm sure you've heard this before. That in itself is an interesting fact. Is that something that you're in anywhere cautiously aware of when entering into this pro level?
No, I wasn't really aware of that at first. In fact, when I started to play the game, I didn't even know that at all. And when I first played my Pro League season, it was like the first Pro League season ever, we played a match, and like obviously HLTV guy Tigris like tweeted that, and I was like, I found it on Reddit and I had no idea that it was real, but I kind of just like forgot about it, and then like pretty much like an hour it was like a cool fact, I guess.
Do you feel like because us old timers in the industry very much feel like it is still a young sport, and just looking back a couple of years, things move at an extreme pace almost? Your career right now is obviously starting. You're in a pro team now, still in its early stage. Do you in any way sense that just over the course of your career right now, massive changes have happened?
Yeah, I'd say I've noticed massive changes happen. Obviously, looking back 4 or 5 years ago, the game's massive compared to back then. Even back then, for the veterans, that was probably when they saw it was becoming really big. So I bet for the veterans as well, the ones that played all the way back, where you have to bring your own computer to like LANs and stuff, I bet they feel like this era of the game is still young. So like they went through like the really like difficult part, like the actual like hard times, like bringing your stuff. Yeah, like the struggles of trying to be an esports athlete, being like unrecognized by like pretty much everyone except the people in your community and the fans. And yeah, I'd say that the era is like really young now, and that people like Forrest and like Garrett probably still feel the same about like it now, and think that it's gonna last a long time because it's still new. So
what you said is pretty accurate, right? They come from the day when you filled the car with people and computers and CRT monitors, the huge ones. What did like the young career for you look like? When did you first touch base with Counter-Strike, and what then happened?
Yeah, when I first started playing Counter-Strike, like seriously, it was like 2015, like mid 2015, and I still watched like matches. I would only watch like big matches, like the majors, and I'd watch like NVS play like TSM or something, like the really good matches, and that's pretty much all I did with Counter-Strike. Other than that, I was playing League of Legends like a lot. I was pretty good at it. I would play CS with my friends, watch matches with my friends. That was about it. But then I started getting like really addicted to like CS. And then eventually I like sold my League account. And
sold it?
Yeah, just gone. It was whatever. And focused on CS. And then, I don't know, it was like the only thing I wanted to do. Like, wake up, go to school, probably leave school early, go home, play Counter-Strike for like 12 hours, and then repeat it the next day. And obviously, for most parents hearing that, they probably don't want to hear that their child is doing that, but I know it's not good, but for me, it was what I wanted to do, and it must have paid off. Well, it did pay off for sure, but
seems like it.
Yeah, but for like other esports, I guess, like starting up. Probably hurts for their parents to see like their kid getting addicted to like say Fortnite, but there's like so much new stuff happening that like they probably want their kid to like be addicted to Fortnite. So it's definitely different, like this generation.
Do you think so? This, you call it an addiction, right? That's obviously a pretty
Well,
big
addiction's
word.
addiction's like, I don't know. It depends like what your life is, I guess. Like what's happening like outside your life. Say like I didn't really want to go to school like in my life. Like I was having a tough time as a child, and my mom's relationship was bad. The atmosphere at my house was bad, and going to school was bad.
So it's like the only escape.
Yeah, it was like the only thing I wanted to do because everything else sucked. So when that happens, like it kind of becomes an addiction because it's all you have, and you want to like cling on to it as much as possible. And especially when that's like the only moment of your day that you're laughing because you're playing with your friends, you kind of want to stick to it.
I guess it sounds more like a safe space than an actual addiction.
Yeah, that's probably the proper word for it. I just didn't think of it. A lot of professionals say an addiction just to make it seem like more severe, I guess. But
do you think, retrospectively looking back at that time now, right? I think you're definitely not alone with having video games probably as that safe spot. You know, I can even relate to that from my own youth, and I'm sure a lot of young people these days can, right? It seems like you've had then a fairly free space to fall into that as a home. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I was kind of just like narrowed down to just games, and that's all I really liked. And obviously my mom had to have been okay with it, especially if I'm here right now. So my mom like definitely enjoyed me playing games because she thought it was just like she just knew where I was, like always. She knew I wasn't in trouble. She knew I was just at my computer playing games.
It's like a safe spot for her as well.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. So it was like my babysitter kind of, and it just allowed her to like focus on working and, you know, make a life for the both of us.
Did she work a lot?
Yeah, she did work a lot. Sometimes a day and night job. So I'd rarely get to see her. And I mean, looking back, it seems like rough, but obviously in the moment I was just focused on games and I didn't really understand what my mom was doing probably. So
I'm sure she must have thought of that space for you to have as 1,000 times better than any stuff you could probably get into on the streets.
I mean, I had friends in school just constantly asking me to like go do things, and I was like, nope.
Nope, gotta go home and sell my League of Legends account.
Yeah, I'll go home and play Counter-Strike, just get paired with 4 idiots on a team and MM. Feels good.
Do you talk about that period in your life, your mom and you? It sounds like you're very close.
Yeah, I mean, I consider my mom like my best friend, and she's supported me the entire way through, even when she very unsure about what was happening. Like when I first got my contract from like TSM,
yeah,
she was, I don't know, she thought it was like she was like signing a contract for like a cult or something. Like she didn't really understand what was happening.
Yeah,
and I was like trying to show her videos of like ESL clone and stuff.
Yeah,
and like look at it. I'm like saying like there's like 14,000 people like watching this right now live. They paid to go see like these people play. And I just like wanted her to believe that like I'll be there one day if she just lets me keep playing. And she eventually like gave in, and well, now we're here.
Did she take like an active interest in what you were playing, or more? It sounds like who you were playing with or potentially making.
Yeah, she didn't really
with.
care about what I was playing.
Okay.
She just cared about the people that I was going to be next to always. Because like the thing about TSM was I had to move into like a house like right away.
Sure.
And she didn't. Like, so this is terrible news to her. Like,
of course.
This is awful news to her. And
with some guy offering you a contract.
Yeah, some random guy over the phone just like, yeah, we're giving your son money, but he has to move. He has to move everything. And he also has to drop out of school, which was the risk I took. So, I mean, to be fair, people supported it. Even my school psychologist said it was a good opportunity they chased.
Wow.
So I left school then, like the exact same day.
I guess that's an unnatural thing. Normally you would, at least in my mind, you would think that the school psychologist would probably always push you in the direction of education.
Yeah, but I guess in this case, just wanted what was best for me.
Looking back at such an early start to your career, right? 16, that's insane. If you think Counter-Strike age normally, right? How was your own mindset in that period? Because I could imagine, at least thinking of myself, is that a career as a Counter-Strike player at 16 would have been amazing. I would have probably loved the shit out of it. I feel like that was the way to go. Was there any part of that reflection that made you rethink, or at least stop up and double check with yourself if it was the right thing to do?
No, never double checked. Went head on, and to be honest, throughout 2015, playing professionally was never like a goal I had.
Sure.
It just ended up happening. Like the closer I got to it, I guess like subconsciously, maybe I thought it was gonna happen, but it was never like something I aimed to do until like I got into FPL, and then I was like consistently playing against like professionals. Then that's when it became like a reality, I guess. Like I'm like, wow, like I'm actually gonna be playing for a professional team soon, and I think it just motivated me to like be better than all the other players I was playing against and with. So.
Did you play it before you became a potential fan of somebody, or were you a fan of somebody and then began playing?
No, I played before I was a fan of like anyone. So, like when I was playing, I didn't even know esports existed.
Some friends just told you to try it out?
Yeah, some friends just told me to like, hey, watch these matches. Like I didn't even know CS had a professional scene. Like I literally knew. I was so blind, man. And yeah, it's crazy kind of that I thought that, because I like followed competitive League of Legends and stuff. I was watching Worlds, and when I went to CS, I literally, for some reason, I don't know, just didn't think that there would be like an esports scene, or didn't really look at it until my friends wanted me to watch matches with them, and then it was super fun. And obviously, I started like getting like favorite players and stuff, and Forrest has been one where like, I mean, he's like literally like the guy, like the CS professional, because he's been at the top for like ever, it seems. Literally forever.
So do you look at him as like a source of inspiration, or is this someone you look up to just in his accolades in the past? What is it about him?
Just like a really good idol, I guess. Like humble, professional. And obviously someone's got to be doing something right if they've been so good for so long. And I think he just has like motivation that people my age lack, even at the age of 30. So it's nice to see.
What do you think drives you in playing Counter-Strike? When we talk to Get Right as an example, right? Now in his, I want to say, legend stage of his career, it's like the motivation to want to give the fans what they want, right? What drives you?
Myself. I don't want to just be good. Like I want to play versus people, and I want to be like, I want them to feel like they got outplayed. I'm trying to better myself. Like I want the best for me and my team, and I'm always going to try to make my team like play the best as possible, even if that means that I'm sacrificing like myself for a win, because it's always going to be worth it. But yeah, I think just motivating myself to get better, be a better player, and if I'm trying to be the best I can be myself, then being just good will never be enough. And I'm always going to have to strive for more.
Well, you had your eyes on Liquid, right? Made that happen pretty fast. What is like the next... Take us through the next steps of what's on that list.
Next steps? Win everything as much as possible. Because I always look at esports as like an actual sport. Like we can act like an actual sports team and do everything an actual sports team does. And like huddle and stuff and really like get into it, as long as everyone is down to do it. And right now that's not really what's happening, but that's like the goal right now, is to get everyone like really into it, kind of like family oriented, make sure everyone's happy, and then when we go to lift those trophies together, it's going to feel a lot better because we know that we're all in it together. So
when you're saying it's not happening right now, what do you mean?
Like huddles and stuff, like I don't really feel like we're molded together like as a team
in Liquid right now. In its current state.
And just right now. I mean, in the past it's kind of felt like that before.
Sure.
And I just got like getting back to it. I feel like right now people think it's like cringe to like act like a sports team and like huddle. Yeah.
How come?
I'm not going to call names specifically,
no,
but it's
fine.
there. No one wants to do it for some reason. We even talked about doing it. This event didn't happen. And I don't really know why it doesn't happen. Like, maybe something about, like, touching each other, like, getting in, like, a circle, huddle. And it's kind of just getting people to get over the, maybe, I don't think it's even cringe. Just, I feel like people are scared to act like a real team. It may look stupid outside, but if you get 5 people to believe in something and fight for it, it's going to be powerful.
So looking back at your early days, early on, what was the first event that you remember? Can you just quickly describe it? Yeah, not a big major event, but just first event.
First event I ever played was the MLG Columbus minor, North American minor. I was on TSM. I remember the first matches we played. We played Temple Storm, the Brazilian lineup. It was 16-14, but we got destroyed by Henny. They trashed us. And
a player who can be pretty vocal.
Yeah, he destroyed us. And but we played pretty well. We made a top 4 at that event, I think, or top 3. I don't know. We beat Energy, and then we like almost beat Optic. And then I forgot there was another team that we played, but we played well. Like, it was our first event as like a team, and my first event like ever.
That's what I mean. Like, what was that like?
It was just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Obviously, I was nervous. Like, I was definitely nervous my first match, but I had like a bunch of like technical problems. I mean, I was new. I was new to like everything. Of course, it's gonna be technical problems. Not only that, I was not comfortable with the setup, but I had to switch my gear before the event.
Smart.
Because, well, not smart, obviously. Not smart at all. But I was forced to. It's not even my fault because TS was sponsored by Logitech, and I had to use that gear. So it's not my decision.
That's like welcome to pro life instantly.
Yeah, welcome to pro life. Fuck all your gear and your new stuff now, and you have to get used to it. And that's what happened. And I mean, I can't complain about it since like this is just like the step to like, this is one step in my career, and there's so much more to go. And yeah, the event was fun, new experience. And my first international event was the first ECS finals, I think. Mm. Yeah, first ECS finals with TSM. And we made top 4 at that event. We beat Cloud9. And we beat Astralis in the best of 1-2 when they had Caribou still. And yeah, that was probably like our most notable event as like a team. And then everything else after that was so bad. Like, so bad. And those are the only events from like 2016 that I remember.
It feels like when looking at past events, right? Last year it almost became like a farce, right? With you and Astralis in the final all the time, and them often just winning, picking the longer straw, right? What goes through your mind end of year with all of that happening? Like, how do you keep yourself on track still?
End of last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like knowing that we were so close, like every time. I mean, we're like the only team that's going into the final against them every time. So in our minds, we know that like we're right up there with them, and we're constantly playing them, and we're beating every other team. I mean, even in like Odense, no other team even got double digits on us except the Straws. And obviously we lost to the Straws. But no other team was even close. Like, every match was just like we trashed every other team. And we ended the year on a pretty high note, knowing that we are that good and that we're here for a reason. We're consistently second, and we just have to get over this hurdle that is the Straws. And it finally happened when we picked up new players, a new coach, a new player to replace Taco. Keep in mind, this wasn't really our decision to replace them.
Okay.
Like, I feel like some people do still think that, but they chose to leave, and we kind of just had to make the best out of it. And I think it was better for both parties involved, because we're back to full North American, and they're back to full Brazilian. And towards the end of that iteration of Liquid, I feel like there was like division in the team. You know, the Brazilians just wanted to like be together, party and stuff, do their stuff. They understood each other like well. Mm. And yeah, I feel like everyone in the team started getting like a bit separated. And that doesn't make for a good team atmosphere at all. And this year I feel like I mean, you obviously heard me say that I feel like we're still not getting like the team aspect
Yeah, I was about
as
to
best
ask,
as
like,
possible.
Yeah.
But we're definitely closer there than we were before. And yeah, I think Stewie's helped a lot. And I think Eric's helped a lot on the strategic side. But Stewie's just another person that's there to like get hype with me and motivate the others to play better. So,
do you feel like what you were describing is missing right now, right? Like that I guess lack of it being cringy when trying to act like a team, was that not present in the last version of the lineup?
I mean, it was present. It was present in the case that like people just said no instantly, like the huddles. They're just like, no, we're not doing it. Like,
why do you
forget
think
about
they say
it.
that?
Because they do think it's cringe. It's simple. Like, people on the team think it's cringe.
Did you play any sports growing up?
No.
But you
No
don't think
sports.
it's cringe?
I don't think it's cringe. I feel like it's a natural team thing to do. And I think it's the best thing. Like, a huddle should be used as like a warm-up. Technically, like, it's a big warm-up. Like, I'd rather be in a huddle, like, discussing things like hardcore for like 2 minutes than warming up like on my computer, like, for a game, like, easily.
So what is then your ritual if you don't have, or let's say
My ritual?
use a huddle, or what's your team's ritual if there is any then? Because seems like most other teams are using the huddle for what you were just saying right there, right? Getting into the base tactics of what's going to take place, and then finalizing with a motivational roar of some kind.
Right now, we kind of just all stand and like just stand around, discuss
in a
like what
non-cringy
we're
circle.
doing. Yeah, a non-cringy circle of love, just an oval, I guess. I don't know. We're just all standing in like a line, talking.
In a line?
I don't know. We're just like standing near our computers, just chilling, discussing what we're doing, our game plan and stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's like still good, but I don't think it's like good enough. Like, we definitely have to be like more into it. Like, I can't like force it onto them, honestly. Like, I feel like this has to be like a natural thing that comes where like they want to like do it. Like, they want to be like that team that like is really like together in it. So
take me through what would be Twistzz dream huddle setup.
my dream huddle setup.
Standing with your team, it's about to go down. What happens?
I mean, just like a normal like huddle. Like, everyone gets in like really close to each other. Everyone's in like the same like space. We're all very close to each other, looking at each other, ready to play this match. And the people that need to talk. Like Nitro, our coach, if anyone else has to say stuff. That should be like time where every person says something to like help the team. And it's very important. And I'm sure like, I mean, you look at basketball, like, they're a giant huddle. Like, everyone's involved because they want to be. They want to be involved. They want to be in it. And that's the same way it should be for all esports games. So, I mean, especially I feel like if you want to be at the next level of, like, play.
Because that was my question before, right? Asking you about if you've played sports before, because that's normally where you get introduced to huddles and that type of camaraderie that there is on a team, which there's a need of. I totally agree with you. Do you think that's the lack of it? People not having had any interactions like that before in their lives on the team?
People on the team did play some form of sports. I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, I don't know how. I haven't asked these questions yet to people I've played with for 2 years, but
You're just sadly missing the huddle over in the corner for not asking why we're not huddling.
well, I mean, they could have played like sports in the past, and I've just like not heard or misheard or something. But that could be it. It could be a reason. But there's no reason not to do it then. Since like, I mean, it's new. Might as well try something new. That could potentially benefit as a team. Like, why not try it? It doesn't hurt to try it. There's only benefits from it. So that's kind of like the way I'm looking at it. And I don't know why others don't. Maybe they're seeing like a different perspective that I don't see.
But you want that huddle.
Yeah, I think it's important. I just want like a general like team. Like, I want people to feel
Team
like really
spirit.
comfortable around each other, where people don't like keep things in.
When talking to YNK from FaZe, right, we talked a lot about the way the teams are practicing right now. And, if you look at it from sports or regular sports, let's call it that, or other pro sports eyes, it's very odd, right? You keep competing against teams that are very close to, someone that you will probably meet in a tournament at a point, playing practice matches rather than, maybe going the way of, practicing something intensely that might not be a match itself in order to perfect it so that you can execute it flawlessly, hopefully against any opponent, right? Do you as a player that has been, not as long in the industry as the idols that you clearly have or people you look up to like Forrest, is that something you're also aware of? Do you feel like sometimes that the entire scene potentially might not be practicing in the most logical way?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely notice it sometimes in the teams that we practice against. And just like when it does happen, it just like ends up being like a waste of time. Like numerous NA teams just waste our time, it seems like, and they waste their own time too.
Sure.
Like if we're like winning a scrim like 13-0 and they just give up, well, you're wasting both our times now because you're not trying to be better than us and you're not allowing us to practice anymore because you're not playing your own game. So it's just not good for both parties and it makes for trash practice, and I'm sure the same thing happens in Europe. And yeah, I think it's just people need to take their jobs more professionally, I guess, and don't waste hours. So that's the main thing.
Is that what you would say? Because it seems like, it's obviously been very driven up until now, at least, with the mindset of the more hours you have in Counter-Strike, the better you'll probably do, right? It's like almost a status thing, like, ding, he's played 1,000 hours, he must be amazing right now. Do you see it that way as well?
No, it's not the same. Like, players don't need to play every day to be at the top of their game. Most of it can be outside mentally. And if all it takes is, like, 20 minutes of warming up and, like, 3 hours with your team, getting comfortable, getting warmed up mentally, that should be, like, enough for, like, a player to be ready to play and be motivated for a match. Because when he sits down on that stage and he goes to play next to his team, he should feel the same as he always does playing the game next to his team. And it shouldn't feel any different. So it's just creating that consistency.
Can you talk us through the emotional state you go through from, say, before a tournament to the tournament, to your on stage, to your potentially winning, losing, etc.? Can you try just outlining what that looks like for you personally?
Yeah, so individually, I make sure wherever I travel to, I find a schedule and a routine that's very flexible and works every day. So like say for this event, there's this restaurant called Patio. It was really good. So basically I would like wake up, try to get breakfast, work out, go to the patio, go back, do things with my team, or whatever, play, and go eat dinner with them or try to. It depends if they wanted to go to a restaurant or they want Pizza Hut or McDonald's or whatever. Because if I go to one of those places, like I can't really go to it since I have like health issues, but it's whatever. So I'll go to like the patio, I'll eat, and yeah, I was pretty much just like get into like a serious like state of like mind where I feel good and I feel accomplished like every day. And then going to the match days, I try to keep the same rhythm of like working out before the match and getting a good meal in before the match, making sure I'm constantly listening to music, and that when I'm with my team, it's like at the beginning part, it's like funny and stuff, like just get the environment like in a good mood. And then when we ease towards like the stage, we can start getting a bit more serious and stuff, and making sure people are happy and are ready to play is like the main goal. I'll do like anything to like be in like a positive mind. Like I was watching my girlfriend play her tournament and I didn't like do anything the entire day except go to the venue and watch her play. And that was positive for me. Like I felt good watching her play. I felt good watching her win. And that helped me go into my match. So just anything, just have like a good positive day. And it's going to happen. Like you start off your day bad or something unfortunate happens. You can't just like sit there and think about it and like have it like dig into your mind. You have to like go do something and change how your day's going and make it good for yourself. And that's like the main thing like anyone that wants to be like a top athlete should try to accomplish if they want to be consistently good.
Sounds like it's very important for you to be surrounded by positive and good energy.
Yeah, like if I'm near like bad energy, like I'm out of there. Like I'm gonna go do something else. Like I don't want to be a part of it, and I want to do something that makes me feel good. And that's usually working out, listening to music, DMing, like something that I can just be in like my own mind and like focus a lot.
A bit back to your youth, actually, it sounds like, right? From your safe space in your home, playing a space you can control and that you know will be good vibes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's just, I feel like it's a key to success, or at least one of the parts.
Do you think, because when looking at, let's say, the older pros playing right now, right, they've had like a long history, like you mentioned, of bring your own computer events, LAN events, and you know, going through that, which, you know, definitely groups people together in a good way, and wanting to do huddles as an example. Do you think that, it sounds like at least in your career as it took off, you haven't been through that same period? It seems like the bring your own computer events aren't really dictating anything anymore. It's like you play from your home, you go to an event if you ever make it to a proper team. Is that true?
Pretty much. Like that's exactly how you just said it. I mean, there is no, I'm pretty sure that there were no, sorry, I'm trying to find my words here.
Yeah, it's fine.
There would never be an event ever again for professionals that involved bringing your own computer and like traveling with it. It's not happening. Sure, if it happened, there'd be a giant outrage, but that's just because people are gifted so much now, and they should be thankful for how much like the scene has like given them, how convenient it is for like people to travel. To be fair, if I was in Los Angeles and like you guys are having a Los Angeles event, and you guys said like, oh, Team Liquid has to bring their own computers, so I'd be like, I'm down. Let's just go there with the computers. Like, I'm down. Like, if we have to do this, we'll do it. But I feel like other people would be very upset about that. And yeah, I feel like that's just how much people are kind of like privileged now. Whereas back then, like you said, they were like always so close together, like in their cars, bringing all their gear. They're always like relating to something. They're always together. The huddle is gonna be like natural for them. Like they want to do it. They love the people out there by. Their teammates and everything. It was like everything for them. So yeah, it's very different now.
That's very interesting because it feels like there's less events when you're in that like grassroots stage and growing as a player and wanting to compete at that level, because now it just takes place at home, that would be the place to get it normally.
Pretty much. Like, and that's exactly like you kind of just, if you don't travel to the event, you're just at home on your computer alone in a room. And there's really no room for growth there if you're just in your room by yourself. So.
Did you feel any of that because it sounds like you've done that journey, right? But you've obviously had someone in your growing up, maybe your mom, who taught you to know how to be around people and, you know, be respectful and try to help other people. But, you know, not everyone has that fortitude, right? So you coming in 16 years old, straight into a TSM house, it sounds like...
That was awful.
Was awful?
Yeah, it was really bad. I feel like the org kind of set us up for failure, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Gave us a pretty shitty house. Gave us no furniture. Gave us nothing. Gave us rooms, trash beds, and a setup to play on. That was it. That's all that we were given. And realizing now, like, man, you gotta give a team a lot more if you want them to be happy together, because once a team lives together for a month in the same house, always next to each other, man, it becomes so volatile. I swear, like, so much stuff can just make everything just fall down. And yeah, I feel like my mom taught me well when I was a child and raised me pretty well. But I also feel like what she taught me is just common sense, honestly.
You feel like your mom put you on
the right
good
path?
Track.
Yeah, she definitely put me on the right path, and I'm very thankful for it.
Looking at that house, you coming in 16 years old, living in a house with other players that I must assume be older than you.
Yeah, I've always been the youngest person every team I've played on.
Just used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it pretty much. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, I was on a team with like Automatic back then. He's still playing at the highest level possible. And he's probably like the only other one in that house that was like mature. And even some ways he was like not mature, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of just like that stage that every person goes through where like they want this or they don't want this to happen. They're like tired of fucking other people living around them or making a mess or stuff. And I come from a house where like, you know, if you see like someone make a mess, like don't just let that person clean up. Like you can clean up too. I mean, you're also capable of cleaning this up. And to me, that's just common sense. Yeah. Just like cleaning up for someone else. Like if that person does it for you, like you should do it for them too. And once again, that's another thing I feel like people just fail at. I mean, that house was like filthy, the TSM house, and yeah, just people not cleaning up for each other. I mean, there was like a player in the house that said that he wouldn't clean up for himself, and there was like a maid. Like he literally said, "I would not clean up for myself. There has to be a maid." It blows my mind, man. Like, how are you gonna make it through life?
It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, like you're done. Like your path is just like things are falling down fast, man.
It's gonna be a rugged path.
Yeah, a lot of bumps, possibly a dead end at some point eventually.
Because I feel like every time, you know, back in the day, right, when these gaming houses begin to happen, like as a young person playing, it looked cool, right? You would think that that's amazing. You get a house by yourself. I was one of those people that thought living in a house with other players was cool. And man, how I was so wrong, man. Like so wrong. And it sucks because like when a team house fails, it's not because of one person. It's because like people just didn't mesh well with each other. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Not everyone gets along. Like if two people don't get along, it's so done. Like team house isn't working. But I also feel like the premise is ruined from the beginning. It's not something that is ever meant to work, right? You know, I love my colleagues, but I definitely don't want to live in a house with them every day because we see each other like 7 to 8 hours at work. I would go insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt originally when I joined TL. And then we all lived in this apartment. It was like Zeus, JDM, and I. We all lived in the same apartment. And there's something about like nothing separated work from life.
It's like a blurred line.
Yeah, and it was very frustrating when, I mean, it was causing like sadness. I mean, sure, I like turned to like a robot sometimes, and I was grinding through it, and like I'm gonna be the best I can be right now. But eventually, at some point, that mentality stops, and you're like, there has to be some type of like balance created in order for me to like actually evolve and be more successful. And definitely wasn't rolling out of bed, showering, and opening my bedroom door and going right to work, which is literally a setup 2 feet away. Not convenient, and it makes for a very unhealthy lifestyle. And eventually when Team Liquid create a facility that we now have, and thanks to Alienware too, it just made everything a lot better. Just like, even though all I'm doing is like Ubering from my apartment to like a facility, and the environment's completely different because I open that door and I see like every person that pretty much works in Team Liquid is there at this facility, and it's just like a big group of people. It feels really professional, but it also makes you happy to go into work. Yeah. And it was a really nice balance because I was so tired. I mean, even having at boot camps, like back then, like the first boot camp, I just rolled to bed like, oh, hey guys, like our scrim's starting, let's go. Like I woke up like 30 minutes ago, got to do nothing in my day. And yeah.
I'm sure other people in your life is appreciating that you're not living in a house with your other teammates.
Oh, for sure. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you could hear stories from other people that tried having a team house and
having a girlfriend at the same time.
I mean, not just that. I mean, back then I wasn't really focused like relationships, and still it was like rough.
Sure.
Like, I feel like I wasn't upset back then because it was all I wanted to do was play. But down the road, I wanted to do more than just play. And it was starting to cause depression because I couldn't do more than just play if all I did was get out of my room and play. And yeah, I mean, multiple things started like leading up to having a balanced life. And the second I made that change is when I felt like I started finally changing myself for the better as a person.
If there's one thing that you should point at where you're at in your career right now, that you, at least looking inwards on yourself as a pro, what is like the one thing that is on top of your list of things you want to not achieve, but let's say get better at or fix with yourself? That can be style of playing, it can be anything.
Probably just how I deal with problems. Right now I have like a...
How you deal with problems?
Well, I feel like right now I deal with problems pretty maturely, but at the same time, I'm not like aggressive enough. Like I'm too passive sometimes to where like nothing gets fixed. But at some point down everyone's like road to like success, you have to be the aggressor in situations and make something change if you want it to change. You have to like really force it to happen. And I think lately I rely too much on hoping people naturally change, because it's always the way I felt is the best way to learn, and it sticks with people. So it's more just like calling out people on like things consistently. If I want something like, say like something like out of the game, nothing like in game, that's like all out of the game stuff. If I want less stress in my life, I just need to like call out people on like things that I don't like, or things that like possibly like irritating me, or things that just like, or when people lack like common courtesy, just simple stuff like that.
It also seems like it sounds like what you are, right? You're the quiet, very respectful, and very friendly guy in the corner wanting the huddle, but not saying you want the huddle.
I mean, I bring up the huddle in like very passive ways, like I just said. Like I'll say cool. Like, why don't we huddle, instead of saying let's huddle. You know, it's like wording changed like everything. No, really.
Yeah, of course.
It changes literally everything, and I need to start realizing that more if I want things to change.
I want to thank you for your time and for being on. I think that you should definitely demand a huddle at the next appropriate time.
You're gonna see it in Miami. Huddle's happening.
I can't wait. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for allowing us to enter this sacred little space of yours that we're in right now.
Thank you.
That was it.
Amazing.
So an interesting update after this episode was recorded. He did it. He demanded the huddle. He got the huddle. What happened? All of a sudden, Liquid started winning. Not just a little, but a lot. Obviously not saying that it had something to do with it, but it had something to do with it. If you liked the episode and if you want to hear more, then please remember to subscribe as we talk esports and life with people of the industry. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, then you'll definitely like these. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you for more Blast Premiere soon enough.